Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I was just going for a stroll with my GAN 13. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this puzzle. I got this puzzle about a week and a half ago, and I've done a ton of solves with it. So I want to tell you about this puzzle. Now, if you see a GAN logo anywhere on the screen, there's a 1 in 7,000 chance that you're seeing it. So if you do, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Now, a lot of people who do YouTube cubing and make reviews say things that they feel is their personal belief and they think it's the fact for everyone when it's not. For example, a lot of people said the GAN 12 was a really catchy puzzle and it's bad, and then the world record was set on it. So make sure that when you watch these videos, it's someone's subjective opinion, and if someone is out there saying a cube specifically is doing this, it might just be that they're either have it set up weird or they're very inaccurate with their turning, because obviously that's not always the case. So with that said, I'm going to tell you how I feel about this puzzle, my thoughts on it, and in the end you might say, yeah, that sounds exactly what I want. If any cuber says a puzzle is just a bad puzzle, pretty much they're wrong. So GAN has had a lot of puzzles, and since the GAN X, I have not been as big of a fan of them for a couple reasons. One is that the cubes have been 56 millimeters, and I have always liked smaller size puzzles. My first competition I ever went to back in like 2014, I think it might have been 2015 now that I think about it, I was using the mini Oolong, the 54.5 millimeter puzzle. Since first competition, I've used smaller puzzles. I don't have small hands, but it works really well. So people who say small cubes are better for, people who have smaller hands, that's not really the case. So I've always liked that smaller size. When GAN came out with the 354, it was great. They have the GAN Mini. That's also fantastic. So I haven't really been a big fan of that larger size. And when I talked about the GAN 12, that's one of the complaints I had about it. Well, they're one of the only puzzle brands that make 56 millimeter now. They're pretty much all 55.5 or 55. So they do have that market still for people who want that size. Another thing that I haven't been a big fan of is the lighter feeling of it. There's definitely that range of what I prefer for the weight of it. And right now they're around 70 grams. I think 80 grams is a little bit nicer. Definitely not the 90 or literally over 100 grams that something like the Oolong GT was. That's too much. But that's just a personal preference of mine. Now, one thing I really do like about the puzzle is that UV coating does feel great. I've always liked glossy plastic, and I don't like that companies have gone to more of a matte finish. And this feels a lot like that glossy plastic, but it definitely feels like it consistently has a nice grippy feel to it. And yeah, it actually, I like that UV coating. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know how it works. And if you gave me a puzzle that was just glossy out of the box, I'd probably feel like they're the exact same, but this does seem to stay glossy longer. A complaint I had about the GAN 12 is about the Maglev. I didn't feel like the Maglev really did too much. This does feel more like springs, so what they've adjusted with the magnets, it feels like they're stronger, and so that definitely helps out. Do I think it's any better than springs? Not at all, and I like springs. I think that's fine. One complaint I did have about some of their other puzzles was that the tensioning was never enough. Like, I wanted tighter tensions, and it literally couldn't do that, and that's why I missed the screw GES version that you had in the original GAN X, not the XV2 or the XS. That's when they started to change. And you know what? This can be so tight that it's too tight. So well done, GAN. That's exactly what we want, because it can be too tight and it can be too loose, so you find something in the middle. There's a good range of that. So that issue that I had has kind of been fixed with it. There are a good amount of tension settings in this. There's 1 through 6 for magnets, 1 through 6 for elasticity, and 1 through 6 for the tension. And I found pretty much everything I liked. I have the magnets right now on, it looks like 3 for the corners. I have the strength of the Maglev all the way up to 6, and the tensions at, I believe, 4, maybe 3. Actually, let's check it out right now. I can do that. It is set to 4. The tensioning, it works fairly well. I still do have one center that when I try to tension, it doesn't want to, so I have to take that center piece out, adjust it, and then put it back in. Not a big issue, but definitely something's misaligned there, something's not quite working. So if you know me, if you know the channel, if you can kind of tell what I'm talking about, I probably am not going to be using this at a competition. It's just not for me. Do I get good times in it? Definitely. I mean, throughout the video, I've had 8-second times, 9-second times, consistent 11-second times in CFOP and on Rue. The times are fairly nice. I don't really have any big issues with that. I don't seem to be super consistent, but that's just because the feeling isn't really what I like. I've put a good amount of candy cane lubricant in this from Speed Cube Shop to gum it up a little bit, slow it down a little bit, make it feel more controllable, and it sounds a little bit less airy and papery. As far as how it feels different from previous models, it feels almost identical to the 12 to me. So the 12, the corners had much bigger magnets, so they really had a big pull when it got close to there. This eliminates those big magnets, kind of goes back to what you had in the 11, but it gives you edge magnets. And the edge magnets, they attract the edges, but they repel for the corners. So when it goes through, it kind of pushes it through. It feels nearly identical to me. If anything, it feels a little bit less than the other one was. Like, it doesn't really want to complete a turn like the other one did. In some images, videos, animations, Gan showed that it looks like the center kind of pulls up. It doesn't really do that. You don't see that, but that's the concept that happens. Maybe it would on much lighter tensions. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Let me tell you about the best part of this puzzle, though. Of all the things that I'm indifferent with, like that they've changed, not really liked for myself, this is the greatest box ever. This box is so nice and snug for this puzzle. It's super solid. I can't really like bend the plastic much like you can with the clear ones. And these magnets are strong. I love this box. And I like that it's not clear, even though I can't see, what cube it is. If I get other ones like this, I might put like a label here. It's a really good box. And that seems silly to mention, but I would rather have something in a box than a bag when I put it in my backpack. It just feels more solid. The clear ones, sometimes I feel like would open up, and this one wasn't bad, but it also felt kind of flimsy. And the fact that there is a tensioning tool that's built right into it that I couldn't find initially, that's really cool. We do have a puzzle recently where you can do a lot of the tensions without a tool, but you still need a tool for part of it for magnets. So it's not like you don't need a tool for any puzzle out there for tensioning it. That is really nice. Okay, so who's this puzzle made for? Who wants this? If you have had GAN puzzles in the past, like the GAN 11 or the GAN 12, this is another good one. Does it change things? Does it make things better? Depends on what you like. If you like the 12 and want to try something that has maybe a little more adjustment settings, that would be definitely something to check out. If you like the 11 but not so much the 12, this is similar to that of what that's like, so maybe you want to stick with the 11. And if you're just getting into cubing, this puzzle isn't going to completely change the game for you. But if you want that sort of feeling that you have the most expensive 3x3 on the market, and you got money to spare, go for it. If you do get it, I have discount code SCR you can use at checkout at places like Speed Cube Shop. So use that discount code, help support the channel, and save some money for yourself as well. So like I said, I'm not going to use this puzzle for when I go to a competition. I get good times in it, but it's just not exactly the feeling I would like. It's not a bad puzzle. It's not a game-changing puzzle. But it's definitely something that a lot of work has been put into, and it's good for some people who want that feeling. If you see any videos where someone says, this is a catchy puzzle, or this is such... they are doing a disservice to the cubing community, and they're just trying to prop up their own channel by making some extreme claim. Ignore that. So thank you very much for watching. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future, and as always, keep following Speed Cube Review for more news and reviews.